Romeo and Juliet, a William Shakespeare play. Who was William Shakespeare? He lived from 1564 to 1616. The exact date of his birth is still unknown. He was born in Stratford-upon Avon, United Kingdom. By the age of 7, Shakespeare was able to read and write. An interesting fact is that he did not attend college even though he was able to read and write. He was married to Anne Hathaway in 1582. His occupation consisted of being a playwright, a poet, and an actor. His early plays were comedies and histories. In his last works, he focused on tragicomedies, also known as romances. Some of his most known works: Hamlet, Macbeth, Othello, A Midsummer Night's Dream, The Tempest, Much Ado About Nothing, and Romeo and Juliet. Romeo and Juliet was published in 1597. The story of Romeo and Juliet was not invented by William Shakespeare. This story had been introduced to the English language by Arthur Brooks. There has been many film adaptations. Most notable is Romeo plus Juliet, which is a modern twist to this story, starring Leonardo DiCaprio and Claire Danes. The Montagues versus the Capulets. This is an ongoing rivalry between two families, the Montagues and the Capulets. This forbids the romance between Romeo Montague and Juliet Capulet. Before reading the play, rank these social offenses, 1 being the most serious and 10 being the least serious. Write the answers on your worksheet. Tomorrow in class, there will be discussion based on your answers. You can pause the video once I'm finished reading the social offenses to you. Planning to trick someone, lying to parents, killing someone for revenge, two families having a feud, selling poison, cursing, crashing a party, marrying someone against your parents' will, and picking a fight. You can now pause the video. Shakespeare 5-part plot. In the first act, it is known as exposition. This establishes the setting and we begin to meet the characters and the conflicts. Act 2. This is known as rising action. A series of complications begin to surface. Act 3. Crisis and the turning point. More and more complications. Act 4. The falling action. Results of the turning point, usually more disaster. And Act 5. The climax and resolution. There is death, but everything is resolved. What are some possible themes for Romeo and Juliet? The power of love. Nothing stands in the way of Romeo and Juliet's love. Passion and violence. The feud of these families is strong and leads to a series of events filled with violence and passion. Fighting fate. Are we all destined to a future we cannot fight against? Can these two lovers fight for each other even though odds are not in their favor? What theme do you think will best represent this play? I will end the video here and share this quote with you. The violent delights have violent ends, and in their triumph die, like fire and powder, which as they consume,